So a lot of my time is consumed with air pollution control technology. So we're a power plant. It's 14 megawatt.
Oh, okay.
So we burn municipal solid waste, which our communities bring to us, and we generate renewable energy, actually. We get renewable energy credits from that. So we have a lot of sophisticated air pollution control technology, mitigating from mercury, dioxin, furan, the criterion pollutants, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, capacity. And when you take a ton of municipal solid waste, after you burn it, it reduces it by 90%. So only that little 10% actually is going to our landfill, which is only 2 miles down the road. And also the alkalinity from the lime scrubber, where we mitigate for the acid flue gases such as sulfur dioxide and hydrogen chloride, actually stabilizes heavy metals in the leachate. So we do a lot of analysis of our leachate, which is basically when the trash or the ash, when precipitation percolates through it, sometimes it might pull out some contaminants with it. So we have quite a rigorous groundwater monitoring program, surface water monitoring program. But I'm also actively involved in, just looking at legislation. Like yesterday, we gave testimony on a bill on renewable energy. On Tuesday, I was up. I've been in Augusta a lot this week. We supported the product stewardship bill that just was in public hearing last Friday. A compact fluorescent light bulb bill because of the mercury content constantly. And the idea is that the manufacturers would take responsibility.
Did it work? I mean, is that going
It's actually still being debated in the Senate, actually. I think it's getting through the House pretty well, but it got on a committee, which is the Natural Resources Committee. So I kind of monitor a lot of different things. And it's from solid waste, water. We have a surface water program at the waste energy plant. I've got a wildlife mitigation plan that I implement, and then dealing with the landfill, and then just the recycling facility, which is very intriguing. It's single sort, and it's been remarkable. Our recycling manager is phenomenal. I mean, how he markets this stuff, the cardboard, newspaper, plastic, finding markets. So we're generating money all the time for our owner communities.
Well, the one thing you brought up was the certificate of
the renewable energy credits.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just talking about it. I'm seeing for my son is because he's in commodities, and see if that's a commodity he's dealing with globally, because the United States really hasn't done a lot of it, but the other countries really got into it. So it's interesting you mentioned, and we get many of these, and I think
the climate change exchange.
Yes,
because the greenhouse gas. I'm trying to cap and trade. That's what.
How much you get?
We sell ours in what are called the Class 2 RECs, and we get the most amount, which is still pennies, if you can believe it. It might be 75 cents a megawatt in Connecticut. So over the course of a year, we might generate around $25,000 from that. But there's
there's going to be a big market.
Yeah, there's the Class 1. I think we'd get more money for that on the Class 1, and that's something that's up for debate. But so it's really interesting. I mean, to me, it's really relevant. I mean, these are issues that we're dealing with, and I'm contending with it all the time. And one thing I think from just being a researcher, I have to be really resourceful. So if the general manager, who's my boss, he wants information on something, I've got to know how to get my hands on it, disseminate this down, present it to him, and I think in engineering, when I was in consulting, they didn't really value that at all. But you've got to be able to write. You've got to be able to convey.
Yes, that's the thing.
If your students can convey what their topic is, I mean, if it's poorly written, their audience isn't going to get involved. But anyway,
nice meeting you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you too.